I'm Estelle Thomson, your mistress of radiance, and this is Walk With Me in Butterfly Alley, a Chic West podcast revival. This is a 10-minute audio series about living a meaningful, sparkly life. One walk, one idea, one story. In each 10 minutes mini episode, I'll share with you what I've been thinking about, what life is teaching me, and maybe a question for your own reflection. So grab a coffee, lace up your shoes, or simply settle in. Let's take a walk together, unfiltered. Welcome to Butterfly Alley. We are back in mermaid land here, aka mermaidism. If you haven't listened to part one of this part two episode, please do, because it gives you a bit of a ground on which this dimension of my work is springing from. And so many, I didn't make up the mermaid body, okay? I'm not the original maker of this. I have so many beautiful teachers that have taught me about how to be in my mermaid body, one of which has been my dance teacher, Miriam Peretz, from which I learned sacred circle dance and still continue to learn sacred circle dance. And she is a mermaid incarnated. And also Serene Bertrand, whose book, Womb Awakening and Mythic Weaver, has been just incredible groundwork upon which I have studied the mermaid body and the, Mary Magdalene mysteries. And so I didn't make this up, okay? There are actual teachers teaching about this, but coming from a background of yoga philosophy, yoga psychology, mythic work, goddess work, it makes so much sense for me to immerse myself in, what I call now being in our mermaid bodies is so integral to this work of feminine magic and feminine consciousness and somatic consciousness in general. And I will say this after recording part one, like I think it's it's baseline to really connect with our magical, sensual self. And I think it starts there. How do we resource ourselves? How to bring more water into our lives, more flow into our lives. And I think initially that's what really drew me to goddess work. Um, and now realizing we need that, but also we need the fortress, we need the Athenas, we need the Kalis, we need the Durgas, like we need also and that also wasn't taught to us, right? How to take our bitch back. And another teacher that really talks about this through the work of To Be Magnetic, Lacey Phillips, about the fuck it energy. Like she speaks of it, but from a feminine lens. And that's really been just insightful for me even in my own body of work in visual imageries and making oracle cards and images for dimensions of femininity, that we're not talking about what are we doing here. We're not talking about it. And so this is why I make podcasts like this. So how to be a real life motherfucking mermaid, okay? And again, please listen to part one of this. If you love symbols, journaling, creativity, and a touch of everyday magic, you'll love exploring my Guide to a Magic Life Sacred Symbology Oracle deck, its coloring book of the same name, and my Artemis journal. I created each one to help you pause, reflect, and cultivate a deeper relationship with yourself and the world of magic around you. They are beautiful companions for your morning rituals, moon rituals, creative afternoons, and quiet moments of self discovery. You can find them all at estellethomson.com under shop. Now back to our walk. welcoming more water into our lives. What can that look like, in what can that look like in our real, like, day to day? I make lunch for my son in the morning. I like pick up my I have deadlines. I pick up my dog's poop. Like, again, I'm not like living this like dream mermaid life. I'm like living a real life. And I think, again, going back to, many of us have learned that to meet our lives, we have to like search for the answers and improve ourselves and understand every feeling and find the quickest path forward. And this goddess that we're studying this month, she offers us a completely another way to be in the world. Like having when you realize you have a mermaid body, it's like a complete mind fuck, because you're you are reminded that the ocean welcomes every emotion, like every in all the spectrums of emotion. She welcomes them all. Not just that, there is no need to understand everything, no need to make sense of everything, to search for certainty. So all your joys, your grief, your uncertainty, your courage, your tenderness, all the delights in the world belongs in the ocean. So when we get to be settled in this, the cosmic embrace that Infantry offers us, we discover that water itself can hold us. And that's really the gift of Amphitrite, who is the queen of the sea, the body of the underworld. She teaches us that resilience grows through relationships with the tide. Like, have you ever thought to fight against the current of a tide? It is really hard. And so many of us, that's what we're doing day in and day out. And instead, like a skilled surfer, Amphitrite, she says, we learn to meet each wave, each things that are given to us in this life with presence and trust. We understand there's a season that carries, there's a current. In every current, something reveal itself to us. There's a teaching with every challenges that arrive. And as I'm recording this, I'm preparing to do a hike in the North Cascade with my goddess teacher Stephanie. I'm just about to swim a 5K, an open water swim, a race, and like both of these adventures have become such meaningful journeys for my mermaid body, and how I've created not just discipline around those things, but a really deep devotion to this mermaid body of mine. And it hasn't been like, oh, one day I decided to do the 5K. Like, these are, I've prepared myself. Like, these have been small daily acts of practices and bravery in the much larger Imrama wonder voyage of my real life mermaid. And so, a real life mermaid honors her body with devotion. She pauses to breathe deeply. She moves her body often. She knows that energizes her, that doesn't deplete her. And she creates wholeheartedly. Like, she welcomes daring adventures with an open heart and trust that every tide carries a teaching. And so these are ways, Estelle, ways that I real life mermaid practice. Okay. These are things that are still hard for me to do. But for example, emptying a dishwasher very slowly. I know, but that's what real life mermaids do. Eating slowly, taking one conscious breath after each bite, putting my phone away after dinner, savoring my cup of tea, my fruity teas, or my coffee without scrolling. Being on my deck and just watching the clouds drift across the sky for like 10 minutes, standing quietly in the rain. That's a mermaid fave, that's for sure. With, umbrellas are just optional here. And let myself float. Like, I've been doing my open water swim. So I pause at some point. I just let myself float in the lake, on the ocean, even in a bath. If you're like, you don't have a big body of water close, like, have a bath, have a shower. That's a huge thing for mermaids, but they sing. And so go ahead and sing your favorite girly pop song in the car. And there's so many good albums that came out this summer. Olivia Rodrigo and Gracie Abrams. Oh, so many good songs. Allow your full attention to rest on your body, the body you have right here and right now. And that's huge. Like mermaids are able to touch their bodies. They look at their bodies in the mirror. They're really one of Serene Bertrand calls it the mermaid mirror. Let your body like be a mirror. Look at it radically and let it remember. And yeah, and you can have mantras. I love to whisper to myself, like, thank you, body, for being my earth. And by the way, many mermaids are silkies, and so they are shape shifting from earth to land. And so those are my own, real way to be a mermaid, in my life. And I want you to know I feel if you're listening to this podcast, you are a real life mermaid. There's no doubt about that. You wouldn't have been attracted to me if you weren't a real life mermaid, you weren't a real life fairy. So know that your body already knows how to invite more water. You already are a mermaid. Your soul has always known how to breathe underwater. I love you so much. And I have some journal prompts today. Those are really good to help you connect with Amphitrite or your mermaid body. Where in my life am I fighting the tides? Where is life inviting me to float? Love you so much. Bye, mermaids.